So sitting on the end here, feet outstretched, legs nice and long, and just rock from side to side and just find the seat bones into the mat. And then let's just pull the toes towards you and just point those toes away. Just pull those toes towards and point them away. And then just release the toes for a minute. And let's just pop our hands on the floor behind our bum and lift ourselves up and get a nice, acquaint ourselves with our neutral spine. So push off, I've got my knuckles on the ground. I'm going to push off my hands, my palms free on the floor, soften my knees, and then rest down on that middle bottom on my seat bones. Soft knees, pull the toes towards, push them away. Take the toes left, take the toes right. Circles with your feet all the way around to the left. 2 times round to the left. And then round to the right. Point the toes, bring them all the way up and round to the right. Good. And then pull them towards you and push them away. And then relax them. And then slide your hands forward, soften your knees and come forward onto your front bottom. Pop your fingers over your toes and pull those toes towards you with your arms. So instead of pushing the toes away and stretching our back, we're going to stretch our ankle a bit more. So I'm holding onto the ball of my foot and I'm pulling it up towards my knee. Getting that ankle joint, bounce the right foot a couple of times, bounce the left foot a couple of times. And then I can push my toes away and push on the top of my feet. Stretch that ankle. And then let go of your feet, come up tall, pop your hands on the floor behind, arch your back up, push your eyes up to the sky, push your breastbone forward, tummy button forward, shoulders back, tailbone back. Really pushing and squeeze those shoulder blades together behind your back. Big breath in. Fill your lungs up with air, breathe out, and then release onto your middle bottom, roll yourself down, slide those hands towards your feet, roll yourself forwards, and think about stretching all the vertebrae in your back. So you're pushing out at the bottom, out in the middle, out at the top, so we're getting a nice even curve. Soften the knees, pull yourself forward, so we bend that hip a bit more. Release and sit yourself up tall. Grab your roller, slide it onto your mat, and then lean back onto that roller. So let's just open ourselves over the roller to start with. So resting it on the bottom ribs. You can hold your head in your hands if you want, soften the knees if you want, breathing in, and on the out breath, just open yourself over the roller, all the way down, lower that head to the floor, breathing in. Breathing out, bring yourself back up. Slide the roller a few inches up higher, breathing in. On the out breath, open all the way over. So trying to let the back crick itself and loosen itself up. Stretching, pushing my tummy button up to the sky. And then pull the head up to the ceiling. And then pull the roller up a little bit further. So a few inches at a time, breathing in. On the out breath, open that body over the roller. Let yourself go. Lengthen. And then pull that head back up. And then pull the roller up to the shoulders, breathing in. On the out breath, let yourself go. Let that head rest on the back of the roller and lengthen those arms if you can, all the way over your head. So back of my head's resting on the roller. The top of my head's just touching the floor. Just off the floor, and I'm pushing my fingers away, feeling the stretch in those armpits, lengthening. My knees are bent, and I'm going to straighten my legs out. Straighten my legs out. And push the toes away from the fingertips. Breathing in and breathing out. Push that breastbone up high. Bend those knees back. Put the hands behind the head. Help your head back up. Just pull the chin into the chest. Sink that back down on the back side of the roller. Pull the chin to the left. Take the eyes up and pull the eyes down to the right. And then rest yourself so your eyes are looking at the sky. Let the head go down as far as is comfortable. Lift the tailbone up and let's roll that roller all the way up and down. So down to the bottom ribs and then all the way up to the top ribs. Breathing in and breathing out. All the way up and all the way down. If you're comfortable, so let your head go from your hands and pop it on the floor, that's good. If you still want to hold on to your neck, that's okay too. Roll over to the left hand side, so we just lift the right hand side up a bit, so we just roll up and down the left. And then turning over onto the right, rolling up and down on that side. So we're not spending too much time here, just giving ourselves a bit of a wake up. And then all the way up and down the middle. And then lengthen. Good, pop the bum on the floor, lift yourself up to sitting, and then bring the roller back and sit yourself on it. Sit yourself on the roller. So just rolling through the bum, so I've got both butt cheeks evenly placed. Now I'm going to tip to the right hand side, so my left bum's off the roller and my right bum's in it. I'm just going to roll through the flesh of that. Roll a couple of times up and down. So I'm on the right side and I'm going to go down and get the roller on my hip, on the back of my hip. And I'm going to roll forwards so it's on the side of my hip. So I'm rocking a bit forwards and backwards. So it's coming over the side. And then I'm going to roll round onto the front side of that hip and through the hip. And then I'm going to go onto the other side through the hip, staying on the hip area. And I can lengthen so on my left leg, I can lengthen the leg and take it off the floor, which means I get more pressure into that hip flexor. And then roll onto the outside edge. And rolling a little forwards and backwards here. And then going over onto my back. And then going onto the back side of the left. And then sitting myself up, rolling through the buttock on the left here. Good. Slide the roller down to the top of your hamstrings. Get yourself in the middle of the mat so you've got enough space. And we're just going to roll the length of those hamstrings all the way down to the back of the knee, all the way up. Turning those toes so they touch each other. Turning those toes so they're away from each other. Full length. And then put the left foot on the floor. And continue with that right leg all the way down, all the way up. So feeling it through this iliotibial band, very non-fleshy part of the leg on the outside. So just be careful that you're not staying in one place too long. Keep moving the roller all the way up, all the way down, and we're going to roll all the way over again. So we're going to go all the way up, full length on the front. So we're increasing the circulation, warming up the muscle, squeezing the muscle by getting the toxins out and encouraging fresh nutrients and fresh blood to come in. So I'm all the way on my tummy, full length of those legs from the knee to the hip, and then transferring over onto the left-hand side using my right leg to take a little bit of weight and my right hand if it's too uncomfortable. All the way to the side of this leg. If I want to make it harder, I lift my other leg off the floor. And then all the way around onto the back of this leg. Good. all the way around. So we just go all the way around like rolling pastry. Pop your bum on the floor. Pop that roller out of the way and grab the tennis ball, unless you haven't got a tennis ball, in which case use the corner of the roller. So pop the ball under your bum. You're going to use the corner of the roller if you haven't got a ball. And you're just going to roll in circles. I'm under my right bum. So I'm rolling in circles, feeling the points of tension, and then roll the other way. And then find an area that is quite tight and pull the knee. So I'm on my right butt cheek, so my right knee is bent, hanging down to the floor, and I lift that right knee up towards the other one and lower it. So I'm tethering, I'm moving the muscle whilst pinching it, as it were. So I'm asking for blood. I can't get blood there because I'm squishing it, and then as soon as I move, the blood comes in the area and we end up with good circulation for repair and recovery. Okay, keep moving that knee and just gently move the ball to check that you're on the point. Now, if you want, you can straighten that leg out and bring that leg back in. Straighten that leg out. So we're moving however these muscle fibers want to move. Straightening out. The muscle fibers in your bum go diagonally as well as, and they do all sorts of movement with this leg. Okay, so move the ball again. And move that leg. Good. Okay, switch the ball to the other side. So you can spend hours there, so we just need a taster of it, really. So this is that TRX last night, is creating tension in the glutes. Okay, pull that knee up and down. So we're on the left side. Pulling that left knee up and down. Sometimes you have to, and then straighten and bend that leg. Sometimes you can get right down on your elbows and you get into the higher part of the glute. So you find that the bit up by your higher towards your hip is where the knots are. So you have to move around a bit. Good. Good. Okay, hop off that ball. Sit yourself on the floor. Breathing in, roll those shoulders back. Breathing out, hands on the thighs. Roll those hands down towards your feet. Pop your hands either side of your feet so they're around, the fingertips around the soles of my heels. Push those legs away. Pull that body down towards. So we're feeling a stretch in the back as well as the back of the legs. Breathing in and breathing out. Sit yourself up vertically. Stack your hands, arms horizontal. Roll your shoulders back and down. Breathing in, and on the out breath, laying down to flat. So if you can straighten your legs a bit, Irene. Going down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All the way down, arms over the head. Push those fingers from the toes. Stretching that body. Lifting the lower back up, stretching the tummy, push the right hand away from the right foot. Really push it so we stretch through that armpit, stretch through that hip, stretch through the front of that leg, and then push the left hand away from the left foot. Again, stretching the armpit, really reach with those fingers, stretch through that chest. Breathing in, and on the out breath, bring the arms to the sky, bring the knees up to the chest, and lift that tailbone up for 3, for 2, for 1. Put that right leg away and keep hold of the left leg. Pull that left knee in towards the shoulder. So it's going in towards it's up the side of my body in towards my armpit. Really trying to close that in. Pull the right knee in, let the left leg go out. Pull that right knee in towards my armpit. Breathing in, breathing out, pull those shoulders back and down. Pull that knee in, Pull that left knee in again, pull both knees in. Now in this position, make sure that your ribs are on the floor. Roll those shoulders back and down, middle rib, top rib, bottom rib. Lift the tailbone, set the waistband of your trousers up a little bit, push the tailbone down and pull those knees up so we get the hip stretch, not necessarily pushing the back down. Now pull your knees apart with my shoulders back and down. With my arms, I'm pulling, got an arm on each side of my inner thigh, on the inside of my knee, and I'm pulling those knees apart. Now squeeze those knees against your arms, so they're at a sort of 15-20% contraction. Lengthen the spine, pull the chin down towards the chest, and now lengthen that head away so we give traction into the neck. Keep pushing the knees into the arms. Make sure those ribs are down. Try to lift that lower back slightly. Release the tension on the legs and stretch those legs apart a bit further. And we can rock, push the right knee down, push the left knee, right knee, left knee. Just gently so we stretch further with these hips. Straighten that right leg out, straighten that left leg out. Pull those shoulders back and down. I've got my hands on the inside of my thighs. Pushing down, rocking a little bit. Rocking a little bit, so lengthening the back and just going as far as is comfortable. If it's too uncomfortable with your legs straight, bend them. Push your heels away if you can in this position, pull your toes towards your nose and then point your toes away and then do circles with those ankles. Circles the other way. Bend your knees and bring your legs with your hands back together. And then hug your knees into your nose, bring your nose to your knees and lift that tailbone up. And then lengthen that left leg out straight, keep hold of the right leg, pull those shoulders back and down and take this right leg all the way over your body, all the way to the floor on the left-hand side. Push that right hand away, breathing in and breathing out. Push the hand away, pushing the hand away from the shoulder, shoulder away from the hip. Knee away from the hip. So we're lengthening every part of this stretch. Lengthen that left leg away from the top of the head. Breathing in, breathing out. Roll yourself back onto your back, pulling that knee in towards your armpits. Pull the other knee in, lengthen the right leg out straight. Breathing in and pull this left leg over the body to the right. Lengthen that left arm away. On the in-breath, push those fingers away. On the out breath, pull that knee down to the floor. Breathing in, breathing out. Push your fingers away from your shoulder. Push your shoulder away from your hip. Push your hip away from your knee. Turn those eyes, try to get the ear to the floor. And just think back to when you first did this, how your shoulders weren't near the floor. And how close it is now. So pushing those fingers, breathing in and breathing out. And then roll back onto your back. Pulling those knees back into your chest, lift your tailbone up. Pull your nose up to your knees, breathing in and out. And one more. Touch those toes on the floor, slide them away, put the fingers over the head, reach, stretch. Big breath in, bring those arms down by your side. Slide your fingers under the top of your legs. Push off those elbows and lift onto the top of your head, pushing your breastbone up to the sky. Breathing in and breathing out. Pull your shoulders together, sliding them under your back. Fill your lungs up with air and stretch those ribs. Breathing in. Breathing out, push your toes away from the top of your head. Look after your lower back by tightening your tummy and pushing your top of your pelvis slightly to the floor if you feel it in your lower back. Breathing in, stretch that breastbone to the sky. Push off those elbows, breathing out, lower down to flat. Lower down to flat. Bring that right knee in, bring that left knee in. Take the nose up to the knees. Once, take it twice. Feet down onto the floor, arms over your head, walk your feet to the left-hand side of the mat and take your arms over to the left-hand side of the mat as well. Push your hip bone to the right-hand side. Keep those shoulders flat on the ground, keep those hips flat on the ground, and feel the stretch down that right hand side. Breathing in, pushing that right hand away from that right foot. Cross the legs over if it makes it easier. So my left leg's over the top of my right leg. And then release and walk those feet to the right hand side of the mat. And walk those shoulders and the head to the right hand side. Cross that right leg over the left leg. Take hold of that left wrist if you want and push that left hand away from the left foot, keeping the shoulders flat, keeping the hips flat, stretching through that left hand side, breathing in and breathing out. And then roll yourself over onto your tummy. Roll yourself over onto your tummy. And keeping these arms bent next to our ears. We're going to roll the shoulders all the way up to the ears, up to the sky, and pull them down. Clench with the bum, lengthen those legs. Roll the shoulders up to the ears, up to the sky. Pull them down, push off the floor. So we lengthen the toes away from the ribs, and we're pushing the upper body up off the floor, bending through our ribs. So my tummy's elevated, my bum's clenched, pushing the pubic bone into the floor. My thighs are tight, pushing my toes away from me. Bottom ribs on the mat, and I'm pushing my breastbone forward towards my fingers and stretching that chest, squeezing from the upper back, and then lower down to the ground. Breathing in. Draw that tummy up, clench that bum, push off those hands, stretch the breastbone forward, reaching with that chest, and then lower. Breathing in at the bottom. Breathe out, lift that breastbone up. Come up a little bit higher, push that chest forward, clench the bum, tighten the tummy, and then lowering down to the ground. Bring those hands down by the ribs. Breathing in, roll the shoulders up to the ears, up to the sky, pull them down, push off those hands, clench the bum, lift onto the pubic bone. Stretch that chest forward, tighten that tummy and protect the lower back, bums engaged, and then lower all the way back down to the floor. Breathing in, on the out breath, roll the shoulders up to the ears, up to the sky. Push off the hands, clench the bum, tighten the tummy, lifting that middle straight up. Stretching the chest forward, opening up the chest, and then lowering back down to the floor. So try not to compress and bend that lower back. Try to come up straight from your pubic bone to your bottom ribs. Breathing in, on the out breath, roll the shoulders up to the ears, up to the sky. Push off the hands, lengthen the legs, clench the bum, push all the way up onto your knees. Pushing that breastbone forward, arms are straight, lengthening, opening that chest, and then lowering all the way back down to the floor. Move the hands down a bit more to your waist if you need. Clench the bum, tighten the thighs, lengthen the legs, breathing in. On the out breath, roll the shoulders up to the ears, up to the sky. Push the hands into the floor and lift your body all the way up onto your knees. Shoulders are back and down, tummy's engaged. Push that breastbone forward, bending into those hip flexors. Breathing in. On the out breath, push the bum up into the air, back into child pose. Reaching those hands forward, pulling them forwards on the mat. Walk the hands to the left-hand side of the mat and stretch down the right. Breathing in, breathing out. Slide the hands over to the right-hand side of the mat and stretch down the left. Bring those hands back to the middle, claw your fingers forwards, and then come up onto all fours. Come up onto all fours. Hands are under the shoulder, middle fingers are parallel, knees are under the hip. Roll the shoulders up to the ears, up to the sky, pull them back and down, turning the inside of the elbows forward so we engage those shoulders. Pull the knees apart slightly so that we engage the glutes, drawing in the core. Tilt the pelvis so the tailbone goes up to the sky, tummy button down, eyes come up into that cat and dog. So we're loosening that lower back again. Turn the pelvis so the tailbone goes down to the floor. Middle back goes up, eyes come down to the knees. Pushing, tucking that tailbone down, stretching through that back. Breathing in. On the out breath, rotate that tailbone up to the sky, tummy button down, eyes come up. Stretch through your tummy, stretch through your neck, stretch through your chest, push your chin away. Taking those eyes up, really stretching the front of your body. And then turn the pelvis and arch up one more time. Keep the inside of the elbows forward. Now come into neutral with the pelvis. So we tilt it so the tailbone is horizontal. Inside of elbows are forward. Glide the bottom back so it goes towards the heels. Bending that hip. Neutral spine, soften the elbows so your back can stay parallel to the floor. And then come back up onto your knees. Inside of the elbows is forward, gliding back, so we're bending that hip joint. So we're stretching the glutes at the moment, big stretch in the glutes, big close down of the hip joint. Now pull the knees apart in this position and push yourself forward from your glutes. So you pull your knees apart, good, back up onto all fours. Lower back into that bend. So this is, we were talking about gardening yesterday. This is the position for gardening when you're down on your knees. Pull those knees apart, engage the glutes, lift yourself back up. Hold yourself on all fours. Hold yourself on all fours, pulling those knees apart. Turn the toes over so the soles of the feet are on the floor. The soles of the toes rather, sorry. Lifting the knees up, come into down dog. So we're in down dog, pushing off the heels of the hands, pushing soften the knees, push the tummy button down towards the thighs, armpits towards those toes, push that right heel back, push that left heel back and down, push that right heel back, push that left heel back, push both heels back, lift the toes up to spread them, rest them on the floor and go up onto tiptoes, so we spread that toe joint. Roll over onto the little toe, roll over onto the big toe. Come back to the middle, look at your ankles, the middle toes, your ankles, all the way up your shin bone to your knees. Is it a straight line? Lower those heels to the floor. Good, bring that right leg up in the air. Bend that right knee. Tip that right knee up and drop that right heel down. So we stretch in that hip. Bring that right leg through between your hands. Stretching this left hip flexor. Pull the right knee out to the side so the flesh of your belly goes on the inside of your leg. Push that left heel away. Stretch that chest forward in that cobra type stretch. Lower that left knee to the floor. Continue that hip flexor stretch. Turn the toes over of the left foot. Come up onto your knee and your foot. Hands off the floor. Tuck my bottom forwards underneath me. Roll my shoulders back. Breastbone, tummy button, crutch are in a vertical line. I'm straight. I glide forwards to stretch in that hip flexor, keeping my tummy engaged so I'm not arching my lower back. Roll your shoulders back and down. Now imagine you're pulling that back knee forward towards the front foot on the mat, so tense the front of this leg. Breathing in. On the out breath, take the left arm up into the sky, release the tension and glide forwards a little bit, pushing that left hand up, feeling that stretch through the left hip, through the hip flexor, through the front of that left leg, through that armpit. Really reaching that arm up into the sky. Big breath in. And big breath out and reach up higher. Then release that arm. Bring it all the way down, one hand either side of the front leg. Glide the bottom backwards and feel the stretch behind this leg. Keeping this tummy button down towards the thigh, pushing my tailbone behind me and stretching, pushing this hip bone onto my thigh. Feel the stretch down the length of my leg. Point the toes, flex the foot. You can slide the foot forwards a little if you need. Point the toe. Flex the foot. So my back thigh should be vertical. Point the toe. Flex the foot. So feet, get your front leg straight if you can. If it's too hard to have your legs straight with your hands on the floor, lift your hands up. But we want the legs straight. We're doing hamstring stretching. So flex the foot, point the toe. Walk your hands to the outside of this leg so you feel the stretch down the outside of it a bit. Pushing through that left hip as we lean into it. And then walk the hands all the way around to the left side. And slide the bum to the right a little bit. And feel the change of stretch around this front leg. Okay, walk the hands back either side of the front leg. Bend that knee. Walk the foot back a little bit if you slid it forward. Turn the toe to the back foot over. Lift the toes, lift the knee of the back leg up. Okay, sink into that crutch. Right, we're going to do something a bit different now. Weight on the hands. Drop the knee of the right knee out to the side and slide this right foot across into pigeon. Yes, well done. Sliding that leg across. So now we've got the leg sideways on the mat. So anyone with sore knees, if you want to do this on your back, you can. Lying on your back, put your foot, the right foot on the left knee. The right foot on the left knee, lying on your back. And pull the left leg in towards you. Slide, if you're in this position, slide your hands down, laying on your tummy. Good, tummy down to the floor. Lengthen. So if you're on your back, holding behind that left leg, right elbow on the thigh, push the elbow into the thigh, and just create the stretch. Breathing in, breathing out. Okay. Walk your hands towards this leg. So now if you're on your back, push your knee in towards your right knee, in towards your right elbow. So we've got one hand on either on the leg and both hands on the leg. We're going to roll the shoulders up to the ears, pull them down. Take the hands off this front leg, holding them behind the back, or just reaching towards that foot. Pushing, stretching the chest, pushing those knees into the floor, holding your body up tall. Big breath in, big breath out. Lengthen through that body. Breathing in, breathing out. Pop the hands back on the floor. Slide yourself down towards your tummy towards that leg. Laying yourself down. Stretch those arms all the way forward. Breathing in. Slide those hands all the way back towards this leg. Turn the back toes over. Lift the back knee off the floor and push the bum into the air and come back into down dog. So come back into down dog if you're lying on your back. We're going to do the hip flexor stretch first. So putting the palms of the hands into the floor, soften those knees, tummy button down towards your thighs, armpits towards your toes. Breathing in, breathing out, push the right heel down. Push the left heel down. Push both heels down, spread those toes. Come up onto your toes. Go to the little apps, roll the feet out to the little toe. Roll the feet into the big toes. Centralize your feet. Sink your heels back to the floor. Tighten your thighs, armpits down. Bring that left foot straight up into the sky. Bend that left knee. Lift that knee up. Drop that heel down, stretch through that side. Breathing in, breathing out. Swing that left foot forward between your hands. Lengthen that right foot backwards. Pull the left knee out to the side so that you can get the flesh of your belly down on the inside of that leg. And push that right heel away from you. Push your breastbone forward. So we're in a cobra-esque position. Take your groin down, open up that chest, push the heels away from each other. Drop the back knee to the floor and turn the back toes over. Still sink that groin down towards the floor if you can. If you want to put a cushion under your back knee, that's fine too. And then walk your hands up onto this front leg and lift yourself up. Lift yourself up. So straight line with the front of our body. Tap the bottom forward, touch the crutch forward, middle, front bottom's coming forward. Tummy button, breastbone, throat, all in a line. Tummy's engaged to hold ourselves there. Glide forwards into this hip flexor. Gliding forward into that hip flexor. Feel the stretch down the front of the leg. If you're feeling wobbly, make sure your left foot's on the left side of the mat and your right knee is on the right side of the mat, so you have a stable base. Roll those shoulders back. Now pull that back knee forwards towards the front knee without moving it, so we're just creating tension. Big breath in, big breath out. Big breath in, big breath out. Take this right hand up into the air. Release the tension in that right leg. Glide the groin down towards the floor. Push that right arm up into the sky. Stretch all the way down this right hand side. Big breath in. Big breath out. Big breath in. Big breath out. Release that arm. Put one hand either side of the front leg on the floor. Glide your bottom backwards. So if you want to have your hands up higher, that's fine. Try to straighten this front leg. Push that front foot forward if you need. Point the toe. Flex that foot. Point that toe. Flex that foot. Point that toe. Walk the hands to the outside of this front leg. So over to my left hand side. Sliding my bottom a bit to the right, creating the stretch down the outside of that leg. Breathing in, breathing out. Walk those hands round to the right hand side, slide my bum to the left. Feel the stretch in the outside hip, down the back of my knee. And then walk your hands back to the centre. Walk that foot back towards the inside of the hands and bend this front knee. Turn the back toes over, lift that back knee off the floor. Have this groin stretch, lowering the groin down, pushing the heel away, supporting off those hands. Keep those shoulders back and down, open that chest, breathing in. Breathing out, slide this front foot across into the pigeon pose. Lower it to the floor, lengthen that back knee. So again, you can go onto your back if you don't want to do this on your knees. So lowering my tummy button down towards my front leg, lowering my chest down to the floor, lowering my head down to the floor. Big breath in. Breathe out and melt those glutes to freedom. Relax the shoulders. Stretch that body, lengthen the tailbone, the right toes away from the top of your head. Pushing that tailbone down. Okay, walk those hands back towards this front leg. So now hold, if you're lying on your back, your left leg is going to push into your left elbow. So pushing these knees into the floor, take the hands off this front leg, push those fingertips towards the toes. If you can, hold your hands together behind your back, push them down towards those feet. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Opening that chest. Squeezing those shoulder blades together. Release those hands, put them back on the floor and lower yourself all the way down to the ground. Big breath in. Big breath out. Relax the shoulders, relax that hip. Okay, walk your hands back towards this front leg. One hand either side of it. Turn the back toes over. Lift the back knee off the floor. Push the bum in the air and come back into down dog. Soft knees. Push off the balls of your hands. Push off the balls of your hands. Armpits down towards the toes. Tummy button to the thighs. Push that right knee back. Push that left knee back. Push that right knee back. Push the left knee, push both heels down into the ground. Good, really reach through those armpits. And then bring yourself back into plank. Lengthen the heels away from the toe to the top of your head. Hold yourself here, drop your knees to the floor. Glide backwards, bending that hip in neutral, not child pose. Gliding backwards and then come up with neutral spine onto all fours. Turn yourself sideways onto your mat. Turn yourself sideways onto your mat. Hands are off the mat. Knees are on the mat. Slide your knees apart. Look down through between your legs and check that your hip bone, if you had a plumb line, the center of your pelvis, your pubic bone is between your knees. Come down onto your elbows. Trying to slide the knees apart. If this is painful on your knees, you can do this on your back again in the baby one that we did before. So I'm on my elbows in neutral spine, lengthening my tailbone from the top of my head, squeezing my knees into the floor. Squeeze my knees into the floor. Squeeze them into the floor. Lengthen the head from the tailbone. Where are your feet on the floor? Are they even? Are they in the same place? Are the big toes touching the ground? Have you got one way, one another? Make them even. Release the squeeze and let those legs stretch out. So you can put a piece of paper under your knees if you want, and that helps your knees to slide another time, but I just kind of shimmy one knee out, the other knee out, and let them stretch. Squeeze those knees into the ground again, lengthening that head away from the tailbone. Breathing in, breathing out. Release the squeeze, let those legs separate. Glide the body forwards, glide the body backwards. Glide the body forwards, glide backwards. Come into neutral. Walk those hands back to the center, bring those knees back together and come down, lying on your side on the mat. Lie on the side on the mat. Put the head in, rest the head on the underneath arm. Make sure the body's straight, nose, breastbone, tummy button, crutch, neutral spine from above. If you drew a line down through your torso, it cuts through the middle of your calf. Okay, lift that top knee up, lower it down, lift it up and down. 3, and down, 4, down, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, hold it up at 10. Take that whole leg backwards, backwards, up and back, 2, 3, shoulders back and down, 4, moving the thigh. Remember the thigh moves, the foot just follows. 5 more, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it high, pop the feet back together and drop that top knee up and down. Top knee up and down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hold it up at 10. Glide that leg backwards. Good. Okay, keep your feet closer together. 2, 3. Leslie, keep your knee higher. 4. Yeah, so your knee doesn't rotate downwards. 5. As if you're stroking your kneecap on the top of your kneecap along the ceiling. 7, 8. Yeah, that's better. 9, 10. Feet together, knee down, knee up. 2. So we're externally rotating the thigh at the moment. 4, 5, 6, really squeezing and lifting. 7, 8, 9, hold it up at 10, hold it up high. Stroke the knee across the ceiling. 1, keep the foot low. 2, the foot doesn't move, the knee moves. 4, I mean it does move, but it's not the leader. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Okay, change sides. All right. Roll over onto the other side. Support the head with the underneath arm. Neutral spine, tummy button, breastbone, crutch all in a line. If you drew a line down the body, it cuts through the calf. Top knee up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Rest your heads down on your arms so your neck's straight with your spine. 8, 9. Hold it up at 10. Stroke that knee across the ceiling. 1, 2. So I'm not letting my thigh drop down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Feet together, knee up and down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Squeeze with that bum. 6. Push the hip, push into the hip. 7, 8. We're pushing into the hip flexors, into the front. 9. Hold up at 10. Keep the feet as feet only moving an inch. 1, 2, 3. Aim to move the knee 2 inches and the feet 1, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Knee up and down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Hold up at 10. Back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Keep that knee high. 8, 9, 10. Lower it down. Rest that leg. Straighten them out. Roll onto your tummy. Push yourself up onto all fours. Hands under the armpit. Knees under the hips. Roll the shoulders back and down. Turn the inside of the elbows forward. Middle fingers parallel. Pull those knees apart. Pull those knees apart. Glide backwards over your hips or heels. Come back up onto all fours. Walk your knees forward on the mat. Slide your feet around. Heels out straight on the front of the mat. Rolling those shoulders back. Pull those toes towards you and slide your hands all the way down towards your feet. Point those toes away. Hold on to the ankles or the calves and pull and stretch that back. Let the head hang. Breathing in. Breathing out. Sit yourself up tall. Pop your fists on the floor behind you. Push that chest forward. Take the eyes up to the sky. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Breathing in. Breathing out. Rest on your seat bones. Bring those arms all the way up to the sky. Pop those hands together over your head. Bring your thumbs down onto your forehead. Push your arms up into the sky. Take your eyes up to follow. Big breath in. Big breath out. Bring those arms out wide. Keep them wide all the way down to the floor. Big circle again all the way up to the sky. Push those hands up high. Push that tummy button forward. Soften your knees and pull onto your front bottom. And then straighten your knees and stay in the middle. Armpits forward, fingers high. Bring those arms all the way out wide. Rest them on your thighs and roll your shoulders. Well done.